This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Young Jarek would love to take my order.
Hi.
He works at the coffee shop just up the street.
Morning.
He's happy and annoying with a smirk the size of Texas. He's my coffee enemy.
Would you like a mochaccino? Or perhaps a cappuccino? Or maybe a frappuccino?
Said Jarek wearing the chinos. All I really want is a cup of coffee. So strong the spoon stands up, just a cup of coffee. All I really want is a cup of coffee. Give me a friggin' cup of coffee, Jarek.
Thank you for calling Pizza Hut. How can I help you?
My heart is broken, but I'm here because I'm hungry. Can we have a conversation about my next meal?
Well, that's one thing I think we can talk about.
This is the kind of request that you probably haven't heard in the last 24 years of your life. My dog died 2.5 days ago, and I want to honor its life by giving you the meat from its body and putting it on the pizza so I can devour it and eat its soul, because I love that dog. His name was Chester. Will you put Chester on your pizza? And you can put some onions, peppers, I don't care. Onion, pepper, Chester pizza. I'll pay $32. I will. That's how much I can afford.
But you're going to have to pay me personally another $20.
So $52?
Yes.
All right. So $52 for an onion, pepper, Chester pizza, large. Stuffed crust?
Do you want it stuffed? Do you want him, like, in the crust? Stuffed into the crust?
Would that cost extra?
Yes.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. I just want to make sure you're okay with this request, because I've called Domino's, Little Caesars, everyone else, and they said no. They hung up on me, so I'm calling you Pizza Hut for this request. I want to eat Chester. I want Chester in my throat.
Yeah. So I'm going to need you to take him to the butcher and get the meat cleaned up, have it packed and processed, and then once you do that, we can talk.
Thank you, sir. You've made my heart full.
Yeah, anything we can do to help.
All right, we'll talk soon. See you.
I look forward to it. Bye.
Hi, hello, Coffee Nation, and welcome to episode 22 of the Coffee with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Carl Coffee. With me once again is my sidekick, Tim Anderson. Tim, how was your week off?
It was terrible, Carl. How was yours?
I was at Disney World. It was great.
That sounds horrendous.
We drank in every country except for Italy and Norway. Anyways, our guest today is Jeremy Ratajczyk, a fellow OTS center. He is 1/3 of the Wheelhouse podcast. I've known him for 7 years now. One of the best wiffle ball hitters and a D1 college baseball player. Man, I can't believe he joined the show. What a great guy. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Been making my way around the Overtime Sports Network lately, and it's pretty exciting. I've been wanting to come on the Coffee with Friends podcast for a while, so this is a dream come true, honestly.
So Tim's here with me at the CoffeeTimeUSA.co studio. We got Jeremy on Skype. Like I said, longtime friend, great guy. One time we had a sleepover, and we talked till 3 in the morning. He showed up to play in WSCM. I think he had 1 hit and 30 plate appearances. And he realized just then and there how good our pitching was. But let me talk about these networks. We mentioned it. We're a part of the Overtime Sports Network. You can check them out at otsportsnetwork.com or on Twitter at _OTSN, and also the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. You can check them out at DetroitSportsPodcast.com or on Twitter at Detroit Podcasts. I seem a little rusty. I'm mumbling over my words because a week off, man. You know, usually I'm pretty smooth on those.
The smoothest.
But we kind of talked about Jeremy and his wiffle. That's how I know him. Some people who listen to the show still know about wiffle and Jeremy. He's been a part of the NWA tournament. And what's the NWA? It's an organization of wiffle ball leagues, Tim.
Okay.
So we started a tournament because people were fighting on message boards. I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. So I talked to this rich guy from D.C. and I said, hey, let's start a tournament, league against league, right? So Jeremy's league in the beginning showed up. He's been there every year, and he's failed every year. Last year was the first time he made the championship.
Every year except half of 2013.
I would say of all the original 8s that are still playing, you guys are probably the longest suffering. So does that make you the longest suffering wiffler in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's it was a rough ride there for a while. Just putting all my chips into the basket there the whole summer, thinking about NCAA, and then having that that rough patch for a while. But I guess you could put me in the category of the longest suffering wiffle ball players at that tournament. Last year was really the first year that we advanced pretty far, and that was our seventh year in it, I want to say. Yeah,
but I don't care about that. You're also the only D1 college baseball player. Does that make you the best hitter in the tournament history?
That's a tough one, but I'm going to say yeah.
So Jeremy Ratajczyk's one of those guys who played baseball, and he plays slow pitch softball, Tim, but he still sticks around with wiffle. So for that, he's a lifelong friend. Because it's not the cool thing to do, especially in the Midwest. You know how it is.
I know exactly how it is.
In the Chicago area, they have this whole other softball thing. They play like with a giant ball and no gloves. Have you ever played that?
I have not.
I played it before. Chicago. What's it called? Chicago style softball, or what's it called?
We used to just call it like mush ball growing up.
It's kind of fun.
I remember watching my dad and uncle playing in that league, but I tried it and it's.
I played it once.
It's not my thing.
I dropped 2 balls on left field because it comes in hard.
That's what she said.
So before I talk to Tim about the Cleveland Browns, Song of the Week is A Whole New World from Aladdin. One, because I saw the trailer. It looks awesome. And 2, because I was just at Disney World. So I have this Disney theme. Tim usually hates my songs. Jeremy, you like this song, right? I mean, you listen to this. You sing this in karaoke all the time, right?
I did sing karaoke on Saturday at a local bar. This was one of my choices, but ultimately I chose a different song. But I did consider it.
So we have Jeremy Ratajczyk, a Utah Jazz, Chicago White Sox, Detroit Lions fan. He's a weirdo. I got Tim next to me. He's a Lions fan, but he also is a Browns fan. Me and Jeremy we only like one team, and most people do. But Tim, he told me before we were recording his reasoning for liking the Browns, so I'm okay with it. And quite frankly, if the Browns are your number 2 team, what am I going to say? It's not like he picked the Patriots or a winner. So, big news, Tim. I'm going to give the floor to you. What are your feelings towards getting OBJ?
Well, I'm going to start this, Carl, by saying that as a Michigan man and as a Browns fan, I'm going to miss Ja. I'm going to really miss him. But that said, OBJ is a generational talent, and it's like all of my Madden franchise dreams have come true. And I probably would have taken the offer they scoffed at. I thought there was more actual talent in the deal they were offered the other day than there was in the deal that went through. I like having a known entity as opposed to an unquantifiable ability.
What a toy for your quarterback.
It's disgusting.
How old is your quarterback?
I think he's 23.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, remember when Matthew Stafford had Calvin Johnson?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You got to give it up for Cleveland, though. Maybe they see weakness. They see the Steelers are on the downswing. The Ravens have a second-year quarterback, and the Bengals are a mess. Why not? Good for them. Will they win the North? I don't know. But will they compete? Yes. What about you, Jeremy? You're a Lions guy. Do you have a number 2 team?
I really don't have a number 2 team. I was just thinking that the Browns actually are one of my least favorite teams because I really enjoyed being a fan of the only 0-16 team in NFL history up until 2 years ago.
That's a dumb reason.
Having that title.
Jeremy, that's a dumb reason.
I had both.
You didn't like having that title?
No. I want more teams to go 0-16 just to bury what happened in 2008.
The Browns going 0-16 really devalued Dan Orlovsky running around 10 yards out of the back of the end zone in Minnesota during that 0-16 season.
Nothing will undervalue that.
So what year did the Browns go 0-16?
Let's see, this is 2016.
Okay, so yeah, that's 3 years after the Lions went 0-16. They made the playoffs. So this would be 3 years after the Browns did it too. That just tells you. Okay.
But the Lions have been rebuilding since 1957.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later because I kind of forgot to talk about the topics. We had the song of the week. We talked about Stump the Expert, Timmy's versus Week, and then our segment with Jeremy. Can we get excited about the Lions now? And then we're going to do the Ultimate Team Battle Tournament, NFL and NBA second round. Man, I'm rusty. Usually I talk about that. Should we start the whole show over, Tim?
No, Kyle.
Okay, we'll keep going. All right, so
if you want.
We'll rush through this because I don't want it to be a long show. Stump the Expert, 2005 Chicago White Sox. Jeremy's from that area. It seems to be the only team in that area he roots for. Chicago White Sox, they play in the south side of Chicago. It's in a bad part of town. The stadium's horrible.
It used to be great.
But they won the World Series in 2005. Something, that a lot of people were jealous of at the time. I know I was. And my question to you, Jeremy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, a man by the name of Dustin Hermanson led the team with 34 saves in 2005. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do remember that. They picked him up from the Giants that winter.
That wasn't the question, though.
No.
Who had the second most saves that year? I don't even need a number. I just need a name. Ooh, dead air is bad for radio.
I have two choices. I'm going to go with Bobby Jenks.
What's your second choice? Because that's wrong.
Damaso Marte?
What is it, Tim?
I don't know.
Shingo.
It's Shingo, yeah. Shingo Takatsu.
That was like my fourth guess.
Yeah, well, we stumped him.
Ugh.
Congratulations, Carl. You did it.
He had
Wait.
8.
We don't get 4 guesses on this game. What kind of game is this?
We stumped you. 8 saves. So I'm about 75% in stumping people. So Jeremy, we debuted a segment maybe 3 weeks ago. Timmy's worst of the week. Tim's my sidekick, and I want to give him more airtime. So he has someone in mind.
The worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible, but thank you. It means a lot. The worst in the world.
So, we got a hot button here. So my worst of the week, Carl, is LeBron.
Oh.
On this day last year, the Lakers were 30-36. On this day this year, they are 30-36. Obviously, he's the generational talent of this generation, but he's also a toxic whiner. He seems to be more hell-bent on getting his way and deflecting criticism than he does being a true leader and accepting the criticism. And I'm just really irritated with all things him, and I just want to know, how he gets a carte blanche from throwing everybody else under the bus. I don't know. It just really irks me.
Do you really think he moved to L.A. to play for the Lakers for basketball?
I think he moved there to be part of the brand.
He's helping his brand, and he lives in L.A. County. And I never realized it before, but when Kobe Bryant played for the Lakers, he lived 2 hours away, and he helicoptered in. He never bought into the L.A. lifestyle. LeBron moved there for one thing, not basketball.
Oh, Lord.
So who cares that they're not winning? But, Jeremy, my question to you, is that a good choice, or are you on my side? LeBron's doing what he wants to do. He has his, 3 rings?
I think at a certain point of his career, he evaluates himself. He's like, I already won championships. I've already won one for my hometown beloved team. I kind of want to be a part of the whole Laker legacy. So I guess my opinion is that he moved there just to be on the Lakers and see what that whole lifestyle was about. Not so much because he thought that was the best chance to win.
He's playing with garbage men right now, Tim. It's not his fault.
He got the garbage Cavs.
Why put an effort and energy into a team that's not going to win? I actually do not agree with your choice here, and I think Jeremy's on my side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see?
I think that, telling people that basketball needs to come first when it clearly doesn't come first for you, I think that's an issue. And if you're going to be a leader, act like one.
He's got 3 more years, and then pretty soon his son's going to be in the NBA. I think he just kind of wants to take it easy. They'll get Anthony Davis.
He's trying to be Kendrick.
Next year. They'll be fine. he'll win a title in LA because the Warriors are about to fall apart. That's my take. And I hate to say this, Tim, but for the first time ever, your worst of the week was 2 thumbs down.
Oh, no. Are you saying it was the worst?
The worst of the week. So now we move on to a segment called Can We Get Excited About the Lions Now? We are part of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. So a lot of times we do talk Detroit sports. Jeremy is not a Detroiter. He's not a Michigander, but he's a Lions fan. So when I met him 7 years ago, it was kind of cool when he told me, hey man, I'm a diehard Lions fan. Let's talk. We have things in common. So now that we have him on a podcast, I have 4 questions. Are you ready?
Let's do it. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I always want to talk about the Lions, but no one ever wants to listen to me because I live in Chicago. So this is exciting.
You got 2 Lions fans with you right now. And straight up, Jeremy, how would you grade the Lions free agency haul this week? Because, quite frankly, I still am, blown away. But give me a grade. A+, D-? What do you got?
I will go B+.
B+? Do you understand this, Tim?
I do, Carl. I see where Flowers is better than Ziggy, Coleman's better than Lawson, Amendola's better than Ellington. I don't really see Jesse James is superfluous, and the questions are who's replaced Lang and who's replaced Quinn.
Okay. Well, there's still a draft.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather have people on hand than relying on first-year talent.
I mean, in this period, with free agency going on and before the draft, I guess if they do draft how I would like them to, then I could call it an A. But I was really hoping that they would address their linebacker position and their safety. I thought those were two big holes. I mean, but they obviously filled a huge hole with Flowers because they needed him. When they had Ziggy last year, Ziggy how they played last year, and I saw a stat saying that their pass rush was one of the worst. They had one of the worst quarterback pressure ratios, and even when they did, that was because due to scheme and blitzing. It wasn't even from the front 4. So that's obviously huge. I would have liked to have seen maybe them go after Tyrann Mathieu, Anthony Barr. There's still some safeties and linebackers available, so we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm going to go B+.
So last year the Lions did something that teams don't seem to be doing much anymore. Hire a defensive coach, Tim, Matt Patricia, from the Patriots. So, obviously, you're going to give Matt all his toys. Matt Patricia, not Matt Stafford. There's 2 Matts here. So, Jeremy, are you concerned at all that the Lions' focus on defense goes against what the current trend of the NFL is? Because it's an offensive league now.
It definitely is. For some reason, I have the tendency to question coaching decisions and schemes with all my favorite sports teams, right from the get-go. I usually don't give people much credit, but for some reason, I'm still holding out a lot of hope in Matt Patricia. I think he has the smarts and the mind to totally think of things that no one else thinks of. We actually saw that happen with the Rams. After the Lions played the Rams this past year, the Rams were kind of their weaknesses were exposed to the teams on the rest of their schedule. So I think he's a great mind. I think that what he lacks on offense, he will make up for with his defensive knowledge. And right now, when I'm saying this, I'm actually holding a inflatable pencil that I got at my last Lions game. It says "Fear the Beard" on it, and there's a picture of Matt Patricia's silhouette with the headset on it.
But Tim, what if Matt Patricia goes 8-8 next year? Does he come back in 2020? What is this? How much? What am I?
In a perfect world, he would, but in Detroit, in a place where success is predicated on the Ford family, he'll probably be gone.
I don't think so. Martha's old. It's Quinn's team. He's got a little bit of leeway. Anyways, so let's talk about the NFC North. The Packers actually did some stuff today. The Vikings haven't done much. The Bears were pretty good last year. So Jeremy, does anyone in the NFC North scare you? And if so, who scares you the most?
I think the Bears scare me the most just because of how good their defense is. That being said, I'm you asked who scares me the most. I guess that is the correct answer. But altogether, I'm still not very scared by the Bears. They had a very easy schedule last year, and I still think that Mitch Trubisky isn't very good. So I think the Lions can definitely pass them up this year in the standings.
But you can never look past an Aaron Rodgers team. It's the Packers division until he's gone. Am I wrong, Tim?
No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, why are you so against Aaron Rodgers? He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
The team is just so bad. Like we've gotten past the point. Like, as a Lions fan, like we thought a couple years ago that like we would never ever beat the Packers at Lambeau Field, and Aaron Rodgers would never ever have an incompletion against us. Like I actually had those feelings. I don't even think about that anymore. Like we've won in Lambeau. Like
we got a 4-game winning streak over the Packers. It would mean something if we did anything in those seasons, but it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, I mean, like it seems like when Rodgers plays the Lions or the Packers play the Lions, like it's the Lions don't seem like a huge underdog anymore, and I actually kind of expect them to win now. I'm not totally worried about it. I think he's getting up there in age a little bit, and the team, the franchise, just seems like it's kind of in shambles.
And how hard is it being a Lions fan in Chicagoland? It's probably more annoying than anything, right?
Yeah, this past year, so like I kind of set myself up for misery this past year because like when the last like 5 years or so, like the Bears came in the last place every year, and the Lions were like sweeping them every year. So like all my friends, they made up for 5 years of me being on my high horse with just them being on their high horse this year, and it was pretty miserable. I watched the Thanksgiving Day game with 2 other Bears fans, and it wasn't fun.
Yeah. All right, we got one more question. Everyone knows it. We have one playoff win in the Super Bowl era. Can you believe that, Tim? One.
I can, Carl.
1991 season, 1992 playoffs. Yeah. Anyways. So, Jeremy, quite frankly, how far do they need to go in 2019 for you to be happy? Be honest.
I will honestly be happy with a division title and a home playoff loss.
That is so bad. Have you ever seen a team with such low standards? That is sad.
You know, beggars can't be choosers. I think just winning a division title and getting a home playoff game would I think most Lions fans would be happy with it.
Yeah.
To quote my Uncle Ulrich, I'm just happy to be here.
No, people give me crap because I say all I want in my lifetime is the Lions to make a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they say, what, not win? No, just make one.
Well, they've never actually made a Super Bowl.
Just make a Super Bowl. You can lose by 40. And I'll be okay.
You know what? I guess my answer all depends on if I would attend that home playoff loss. If I have to sit in that depressing atmosphere at Ford Field after a playoff loss, I couldn't do it.
Lions haven't won.
I guess I could watch it at home.
They haven't won a division title since the 93 season, which Jeremy was just a young one. I was 2. I was 10.
I was 12, and Barry Sanders was like a cartoon character.
My goodness. So
that was at the old Pontiac Silverdome, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the Lions, they've never won a wild card game. The only playoff win, they had a bye, and then they beat the Cowboys in the divisional round.
Hey, I got a quick question, Lions question for both of you guys while we're on the topic. In your time as a fan, the single most depressing game and or depressing moment?
Hands down, the playoff loss for the Cowboys. I think it was the 2014 season. Might have been the 2015 playoffs, but yeah, that just because they lost on that really bad call. I think it was a pass interference call. What about you, Tim?
Every Thanksgiving where they played the Packers.
Oh.
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers have ruined enough of my Thanksgivings.
I have mine is kind of a toss-up. The playoff game against the Cowboys really stings. What also really stings is the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. That literally took the breath out of me. I couldn't breathe, and I called off work the next day.
Jeez.
And you know what made that sting even more was that happened to be Calvin Johnson's last year, and that was the game that, for all intents and purposes, knocked the Lions out of playoff contention that year.
This has become a very depressing show. Being a Lions fan is tough. Not only have we seen all this losing, but somehow we've got 2 once-in-a-generational players. Barry and Calvin, and they both retired at the ripe age of 30. When, yeah, maybe you're a little over the hill, but you could still be in your prime at 30. So, two guys who retired.
We need to change the song of the week on this podcast to the song from Titanic.
So we just talked Detroit Lions, and if we didn't lose our listeners, you're going to listen to this next segment, but how many people can take that segment and keep going on, Tim?
If they're here at this point, they're in for the long haul.
It's just so hard.
Jeremy is a Detroit Lions fan, a Utah Jazz fan, who some of those teams in the 90s were just sick. And, any other year they'd win. But they, went up against Jordan, and they couldn't do it. So you had to see Utah Jazz lose to your local Chicago Bulls team, and now you're a Lions fan, and they might be good, but they could very well lose to another Chicago team, the Chicago Bears. Man, Ratajczyk has it tough, right, Tim?
He does.
All right. Well, let's have some fun now, because this segment makes zero sense. And we're going to push along. We've done all the first-round matchups, Tim.
We have.
So there's 64 teams left. And we're going to go the NFL and the NBA second round. And remember, I had some people pissed at me because some of our pickers didn't follow the criteria. But some of them did. We told Jeremy it's a cage match.
It is.
And he's going to give his best insight.
Okay.
But even if he doesn't, whatever he says goes. Because this is nonsense, right?
It is idiotic, Carl.
It's a weird time in sports. People don't really care. Yes, the NCAA tournament's coming up, but who cares?
Most of all, you can't find this in a box score.
We're a different podcast. We have a different kind of show. It's a sports podcast, right?
I think so.
Jeremy Ratajczyk is 100% Polish, right?
Not quite, but I could tell you that and you would believe it. So,
have you heard of the Punchki?
I have heard of them, and I had 3 of them last Tuesday.
As did I. Huh.
Where were you?
Prune?
They don't have them here in Virginia.
No, I picked them up in Wallington, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And cream cheese.
All right, here we go. So, you have your bracket out, Tim?
I do, Carl.
Let's look at the NFL.
NFL.
Ooh. So there was no buys in the NFL. There were 32 teams. Now we have 16. Here we go. So Jeremy, you're going to do the matchup first, and then we'll go to Twitter. So right now we have a falcon versus a lion. Falcon's a bird of prey, and a lion is a muscular, deep-chested cat native to Africa. I went on a safari in the animal kingdom at Disney World, and the lions were just sleeping. They sleep like 20 hours a day.
Hashtag goals.
All right, Tim. Oh, I mean, Jeremy.
Excuse me. # goals.
So we got a falcon and a lion fighting. Who wins? 2 animals.
That's a pretty easy one. Lion's stronger, more aggressive. It's a cage, so a falcon won't be able to fly out of the cage.
And you know what? The Twitter had 82% lion. So, good choice. 1 for 1. So, Tim, you're going to break the tie first, but we didn't need you there. Moving on. Here we go. 2 NFC East teams. Redskin versus Eagle. And as you know, guys, Redskin's a slang term, Jeremy, for Native Americans in the United States. People are very up in arms about the name and the logo, but their owner, Dan Snyder, said, I am not changing it. I am not changing it. Me and Tim are now in DC land. We don't care. Whatever.
Actually, I'm pushing for them to change it.
I mean, we don't care about the team.
Oh, no, they're trash.
The logo, it's extremely racist. And an eagle, once again, it's another bird. Kind of like a falcon, but different. What do you got, man? You got an Indian versus a bird.
Just to clarify here, in the cage, would it be just the Redskin logo, so just the Indian head battling the eagle, or would it be like the entire Indian with like a little mini axe?
I'll give you the whole person, man. The whole person.
Yeah, I think the Redskins taking down the bird. Human power.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I was always kind of big on the human element, and Twitter agrees with you 60%. So Redskins going to move on. And now we have a Jet versus a Chief. And now it gets interesting, okay? Because For the first time, you're going to have something without a heartbeat. We talked about this before. How do you defeat a jet? It takes time, right? So a jet is an aircraft propelled by jet engines, and a chief is a leader or ruler of a people or clan. So now you have a airplane versus a person. It's your world, though. Use your own criteria. Use your imagination, Jeremy Ratajczyk, who ate 3 punch keys. He can do that, though. He's skinny.
Potchkey City.
Yeah. So who do you got?
You know what? You said the chief is a leader of a person or clan. If he's by himself, yeah, he's no match for the jet. The jet's it's got the loud engine. The chiefs can be all disoriented from his head's gonna be spinning for all those decibels going through the roof. You got the jet.
Jet moves on.
Jet moves on.
And it's actually tied on Twitter, so I'm not going to go to Tim.
No.
I'm going to say what you pick goes. You're our guest, and that Jet took down a bear and a chief to move on to the round of 32 overall. Wow, what a run! Jets are big. That's a tough thing to defeat.
Yeah.
Any insight, or do you think this is nonsense, Tim?
Well, I don't think a human could withstand the heat of a jet, Carl.
And the chief, you know?
I'm going to put that out there.
Imagine putting a chief. Jeremy, what are you doing over there? That's a lot of noise.
I was actually just cracking open a Corona. I didn't mean to be that loud. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're doing it for good reasons.
We can't hate that.
Ready for the next one, Jeremy R? Buccaneer versus a Charger. Who do you got?
Charger. Can you give me the definition of a Charger?
Well, I just looked up what Webster said, and it's a device for charging a battery or battery-powered equipment.
I don't think that's it, Carl.
Listen, I understand what a charger is. It looks like it's electricity, but I just took the definition.
I thought it was a horse. Crazy.
Yeah, I think that a pirate, the Buccaneer pirate, has the strength advantage over a piece of plastic. But you know what? Don't underestimate the power of electricity. We got some.
Wait, are you picking Charger?
It's a rainy day. We got some water coming in. Maybe the Buccaneer gets shocked.
You're picking Charger, really?
Yeah. What if it rains and the Buccaneer gets shocked?
All right, Tim. Talk to the mic. It's your time because Twitter Nation picked Buccaneer.
I'm going to go with Twitter Nation. I like where he's going with this. I just don't see that as being very likely.
Yeah. I forgot we had to be likely. A likely outcome.
Buccaneer beat a Jaguar and Charger. And they move on to the final 32. Things are exciting. Things are getting exciting. All right, let's move to the right side of the bracket for the NFL region. Patriot versus a Seahawk. And Jeremy, a Patriot is someone who supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies. And some people consider Seahawks to be a nickname for ospreys or squaws. So it's pretty much a bird that hangs out by water. A human versus a bird. What do you got?
Human power. I'm sticking with it. Plus, the Patriots never lose, do they?
Oh. Jeremy picks Patriot, and Twitter agrees 67%. All right.
You're actually drinking a Sky Vodka out of a Patriot glass, too, if I'm not mistaken right now, aren't you?
I put water in my Patriot glass. I drink the Sky out of my Detroit Super Bowl shot glass.
XL.
Okay, so you're trying to rub up the Patriot Super Bowl vibes onto the Lions. You're doing a little bit of voodoo there. I like it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've actually kind of root for the Patriots when the Lions aren't in the playoffs. So most of the time, it's the Patriots.
Touchdown, Tom.
I appreciate greatness, Jeremy R. So we got Panther versus a Titan. And Jeremy, did you know that a Panther is a large American wildcat? And a Titan.
I did know that. One of my teammates at the NCAA tournament one year was the GBL Panthers.
Of course they were.
With that.
You know what Jeremy did? Every year he changes his team name, and it's really tough on the committee. It's annoying, and every year they lose. You know, they take the best players from other leagues, and they still lose. Can you believe that?
Hey, if we're the GBL legends in 2019, are we going to?
And guess what they did last year? They lost to a bunch of teenagers. Can you believe that too?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I got schooled by a bunch of teenagers a few years ago.
Yeah. Anyways, a Titan is a person of exceptional importance and reputation. Panther versus a Titan. Animal versus human. Jeremy R. What do you got?
This is a tough one. The Titan name is a very powerful and prestigious name, but I think that the Panther, this particular animal, I'm going to have to shy away from the human power. The Panther's got claws, it's got teeth, it's got speed, it's got strength. It's a 4-tool player.
Bad choice.
Panther.
He picked Panther. Twitter says Titan. It goes to Carl. I'm agreeing with Twitter, just like Tim. Jeremy, sorry. Titan moves on. So now the tiebreaker go back to you, Tim. And can you believe what Jeremy's saying? Every year he shows up to the national tournament with a different team name, different teammates, never goes home with any sort of cup. When's he going to end this nonsense? When's he going to realize he's just never going to win? Huh, Tim?
I don't know, Carl. I've been in that boat myself, and it's not lovely.
But he's a good guy, right?
The best.
Thank you.
Jeremy, I'm trying to rile you up. What does it take to get you riled up? Like, you're the most even-keeled, mild-mannered guy I've ever met. Like, what does it take to get you going?
What makes my blood boil? I would say people that don't give you my personal space.
No.
That's a good one. People that cannot go to the gym and cannot contain their personal stench to within a 2-foot radius of themselves. People that work out, do squats at the gym without any shoes on.
All right, well,
that's about it.
None of those things will happen here since we're not with you right now. Anyways, let's move on. Terrible answers.
Yeah, wow.
Jeez, even Tim's disgusted by that. Like, we're trying. We're trying to upset you. What does it take? What do we have to do?
I don't want to give you guys my weakness.
My goodness, man. Anyways, here we go. Let's move on. We got 2 more matchups in the NFL. Jeremy, we got Raven versus a Viking. A Raven is a large, heavily built crow, and Viking is a pirate Norseman plundering the coast of Europe in the 8th to 10th centuries. A bird versus a human. You've seen this before. Who wins?
Viking, no doubt about it. Viking it's got the battle experience.
Good choice, right, Tim?
I believe so.
Are you still pissed off about Jeremy's answers about what upsets him?
No, I'm still bummed about the lion stuff.
Last one. We got cowboy versus a raider. Jeremy, cowboy is an animal herder who tends cattle on ranches in North America. And a raider is one who engages in a raid and or a plunderer. Who wins? 2 humans. This is exciting.
Yeah, I think the raider by nature is more aggressive than the cowboy. It probably has better battle tactics. Let's go raider.
Yep. And I forgot to say last matchup, Twitter agreed, Viking. And with this matchup, Raider, Twitter also agrees, 82%. So, we have our final 8 NFL teams, Tim.
That's exciting, Carl.
Lion, Redskin, Jet, Buccaneer, Patriot, Titan, Viking, Raider. Of those 8, Tim, who is the weakest?
Gonna have to go with the Redskin?
So we got animal, human, airplane, human, human. You're picking Redskin?
And 2 of the humans are actually the same thing. Raiders are the same thing as Buccaneers.
Fair. Okay. Who of the 8 is the strongest?
The Jet.
The Jet. The Jet.
The Jet.
You don't think like a Viking could pick
They've never seen one before.
a Patriot?
Well, a missile, yeah.
You might be right. Jet might be the winner here. All right. Let's go to the NBA next. Jeremy Ratajczyk. What a show. Aladdin, White Sox, LeBron James, OBJ, wiffle ball. We just knocked out the NFL. Now we have the NBA.
You brought Punchkis.
Yeah, Punchkis too. Jeremy
We talked about Punchkis, the White Sox, the Lions, wiffle ball, and now we're about to talk about the Jazz. You guys are really hitting home for me in the show.
I've wanted Jeremy on for a while. He is a member of the OTSN on the Wheelhouse podcast. And we kind of just talked off the air about the Galarraga game because I was going to recommend breaking that one down because, man, oh, man. Right. It's a perfect game if it happens today because of the replay rule. It still hurts, but whatever. He got a free Corvette because of it. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah. One of the dealerships gave him a free Corvette because they felt bad. So good for him.
Yeah.
Who knows where he is now? But anyways, so here we go. NBA. And Jeremy Ratajczyk's a Jazz fan. And Jazz and Laker, probably two of the weaker teams, and got a bye. So here they are in the second round. And Jazz is a type of music of Black American origin characterized by improvisation and forceful rhythm. And thunder is a sound caused by lightning. So, for the first time ever, we have sound versus sound, Tim. What do you got, Jeremy?
Do not underestimate the power of music.
Yeah,
being a jazz drummer is harder than being a drummer of any other genre.
Yeah, but isn't jazz considered like the weak, pussiest music?
Just play the right notes. Just play the right notes.
So I kind of felt bad because since I was on vacation, I didn't give these polls a lot of time. So these NBA ones were put up today. So I only got 10 votes, but 8 out of the 10 voters pick Thunder. So it goes to you, Tim. Will you end?
Thunder.
Okay, wow. Sorry, Jeremy.
Nope. Sorry about that.
Wow.
Well, I guess that's 5 times the Thunder beating the Jazz this year.
All right, so let's go back in the cage now. We got a Hornet versus a Warrior, Tim. And a Hornet is a large stinging wasp that nests in hollow trees. They beat a Nugget. And a Warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. They knocked out a Pelican. So now we have a Hornet, a bug, versus a Warrior, a human. Remember that, Jeremy, okay?
Okay, don't underestimate the stinger, though.
A bug versus a human. Don't be stupid here. Who do you got? He's thinking about it. He's being stupid.
Well, this Warrior would die.
Hornets
I'm
are
just
kind
saying,
of scary.
I was stung by a hornet once when I was a kid, and I cried. It put me out of commission.
I dare you to pick Hornet. I dare you to.
Warrior.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually deathly allergic.
Really?
That's why it's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Hornet lost to the Warrior 78% to 22. So.
What if the Warrior is allergic to the Hornet?
I don't know. But here's another one. We'll move on. Heat versus King. Heat beat Cavalier, King beat Nick, and heat is the quality of being hot. It's a high temperature, and the King is the male ruler of an independent state inherited by birth. Heat versus King. This is kind of tough, actually. So, Jeremy, it's your world, man. Think about this. In a cage, what happens? Break it down.
I mean, obviously the King starts to sweat. I'm trying to think of ways that a human can beat heat. The King might have to bring some ice into the cage with him. I don't know, but I mean, at what point does a heat succumb to victory? I think eventually the King gets too hot and leaves the cage.
Heat wins?
Heat wins.
All right, we got 11 votes on Twitter. It's not a lot, but 55% of the voters picked Heat. So that's a 6-5 vote. Heat moves on. Good job, Jeremy. We got 5 more. And this one's pretty big. It's pretty big, actually. Wizard versus Raptor. Because you know what a wizard can do, Tim?
Anything he wants.
Has magical freaking powers. Have you ever seen what Merlin can do? He's a wizard. It's unfair. But he runs out of energy fast. But anyways, yeah, wizards have magical power, especially in legends and fairy tales. And a raptor, and here's the words. Because at this point in the podcast, I'm pretty drunk. And I see these words. And look at those words. They're long. A raptor is a dromaeosauride dinosaur, especially Velociraptor or Utah raptor. Do those words mean anything to you, Tim?
They do, Carl.
What about you, Jeremy?
No, I'm lost.
So, it's a weird cage match, but we got a wizard versus a raptor. And Chris Pratt's not there to help the raptor. Who do you got?
Is the wizard able to just become invisible when the raptor makes its strike?
I can't answer. I'm done talking. It's your world, man. You can decide what the wizard can do.
Oh, I thought you're the moderator of the cage.
Yeah, but I can't add anything else after I describe things. Very strict rules.
He sets the picture and then you decide.
I think eventually the wizard runs out of power and the raptor is just relentless, and eventually the raptor gets a fatal blow in there. Raptor wins.
Oh my gosh. This is the biggest upset I've seen in this tournament.
This one is yours.
I had Wizard actually as going on very far.
Yeah, so did I.
And because because of the circumstances, because I did the NBA today, it only got 8 votes. And 5 of those votes went to Raptor. And because of Jeremy picking the Raptor, this tournament is now flipped upside down.
Upside down kingdom.
Wizard, one of my favorites, is gone. And there's probably going to be some slow violin music in the background. But there's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. The tiebreaker went to me, but I don't have the option. Can you believe that?
If Michael Jordan is vulnerable as a Wizard, a Wizard is vulnerable to the Raptors.
We have 4 more matchups, and after this one, there's going to be 2 teams that we'll talk about who I think can save the NBA bracket. But this one's kind of weak. Laker had a bye in the first round, and I just Googled what a Laker is, and it's a type of ship. A lake freighter, if you will, and a buck is a male of some horned animals, especially a fallow deer, roe deer, reindeer, and antelope. Who do you got?
Yeah, this really is a boring one.
Yeah, it's boring.
Can I just say that they sound delicious?
So it's a ship versus a very.
But how can Los Angeles, after taking the Laker franchise, keep the name? There's no lakes in LA.
There's no jazz in Utah.
True. Okay, fair enough.
There's no jazz in Utah. Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyways, who do you got? Just pick. Get this over with so we can go to the best matchup of the century.
Let's go Buck because the cage is on land.
I got 10 voters, a native on picked Buck, so they move on. So now we go to the matchup of the century. We talked about this weeks ago, Tim.
We did.
And I said there's a big 3. The NBA might have the 3 best competitors: Wizard, Magic, and Sun. Wizard's out, just like that. And one of them was going to be out here. Whoever wins this is going to be my new favorite.
This is the Highlander.
And unfortunately, we only got 9 votes because the matchup just came out today. I'm sorry, Twitter Nation. But it's all on Jeremy. He doesn't know who Twitter picked. Magic is the power of influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. And I've asked you this before, Tim. What's more powerful, the wizard or the magic? It's the magic, right? It's kind of like the chicken or the egg conversation, right?
Yeah.
So magic is facing the freaking sun, which is the star of the center of the solar system. It's the sun. And Chandler Phillips just went on Twitter saying no one's beating the sun. But if there's one thing that could beat the sun, Jeremy, it's magic, right?
Wouldn't the matchup of the century be Heat versus the Sun?
I don't think so,
Yeah,
man.
because
How would that ever get resolved?
I don't know. I'm not too concerned about Heat. I'm still kind of pissed Wizard lost. This is the matchup right here, man. Whoever you pick here, I think, is gonna go pretty far.
Let's go Sun.
Oh my gosh. Well, Twitter picked Magic, 67%. Is it on me or you?
it's on you.
Oh my gosh. I'm probably gonna upset Chandler. I'm probably gonna upset Jeremy.
Did he beat the King? Refresh me.
Heat beat the King, correct?
Oh, yeah. I'm really lobbying for a Heat versus Sun final. I think that'd be very exciting.
I'm sorry. I believe in magic, and I hope you do.
No, he went there.
another song of the week.
Listen, though, it's magic, man. Right, Tim? You agree with me?
I mean, I guess you make a good point. Like, the magic could totally take the heat and the brightness out of the sun if it wanted to.
Talk about killers. Sun and Wizard are out. And then we have weak guys like Thunder and Buck and still around. Think about that. It's unfair. It's just the way the bracket works. Jeremy knows that. You know what bracket luck is, right?
If I'm a gambling man, I put my money on the Buck. That would be 50-1 odds to win.
But we got Rocket versus Timberwolf, Jeremy. And a rocket is a launched projectile propelled by the combustion of its contents, and a Timberwolf is a subspecies of the gray wolf. This is a weird matchup. So you go in a cage, and I feel like if the wolf can dodge the rocket, it can win. The rocket has one chance, but it's
well, if it blows up though, it's probably gonna still get the wolf, right?
Yeah. So who do you got?
I think the wolf is gonna be elusive. It's quick enough to dodge the rocket.
Wow, you're picking Timberwolf?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the rocket by itself. It doesn't have a launcher with it. It's just going to sit there.
All right, Tim's going to have to come back to life here. He's going to have to talk to the mic because Twitter Nation picked Rocket 80%. So now it goes to the third party.
I have Rockets.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I was also going to change my answer too. I want to go Rocket. I really like the song "Rocket" by Def Leppard.
All right, we go to this last one.
He's a Rocket man.
And I still can't believe Pacer moved on to this second round.
I don't understand that at
because
all.
I'm going to do spoiler alert, Jeremy. Grizzly won 100% on Twitter. Very rare. So it's Pacer, which is a pace setter. That is the shortest description we have. And you know and a grizzly is an animal of large race, a brown bear, native to North America. So, I don't know. You're from Indiana, but you've never once ever told me you care anything about the Pacers. You probably had the Grizzly winning, right?
Yeah. That's I don't even think my Indiana bias can lead me to take Pacer in this. The Grizzly is not losing to a pace setter.
Okay. We're moving on. So now we have, if my math is correct, we have 48 teams. Our next guest will break down the NHL and MLB. But there aren't teams in those sports that are as fun as the NBA. That was fun.
It was imaginative.
It was fun.
Kind of dumb.
It is all dumb.
That's why it's great.
That's what this podcast is. Some people understand it. Does Jeremy? I don't know.
I got it.
He gets his show.
Maybe.
I mean, he picked the Raptor over the Wizard, which I guess could happen. Get the Wizard when it's eating dinner, right?
I would have thought the Wizard would
gotta eat sometime.
Cupcake or something.
Get the Wizard at a weak moment. Wizard and Sun is out, and now we go to the Throne of Awesome. And what we're doing this 4-month cycle, Jeremy, is we're picking the top 4, and you're the 5th guy in this cycle. So Tim can say no, Jeremy's not in the top 4. He could put you 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. So Tim, it's your world, man.
More importantly, John Hill is out.
So that means Jeremy will be in the top 4.
He is in the top 4.
Where is he?
We don't know yet. We have to look at the power rankings.
We got Bailey 1, Matthews 2, Harris 3. Where is Ratajczyk? I need the number.
He's 3rd. Matthews is 1st. Harris is 2nd. And Bailey's 4th.
You can't.
Oh my goodness! Power
You're changing
rankings.
everything.
Power rankings.
I say that again.
It's crazy.
Who's first?
Matthews is 1. Harris is 2. Chick is 3. And Bailey is 4th.
Well, this is weird, but it's your thing.
It's power rankings, man. It's all crazy.
So Jeremy, you sit 3rd place. Not bad. We'll see if you can. It's
I'll take that. I'll take top 3.
So it ends in the end of May. So you got time. I liked having you on. D1 baseball
Thank
player.
You.
What did you? What was your batting average your senior year at Chicago State?
347, the same as Mitch Haniger's.
Damn, that's really
Cal
good.
Poly.
That's good.
That's insanity.
3, 4. What was the toughest team you played? Any major leaguers?
I never played against. I played against people that got drafted, but no one that made it to the major leagues that I know. Toughest team we played was probably Villanova. We
not bad.
My senior year, we lost 19-1, and our one run, I did hit a solo home run that game, so that's my claim to fame.
You know, Jeremy has a wiffle ball. He's kind of a long swing, so he does strike out a lot. But if you get a pitcher that throws a straight fastball, it doesn't matter how. I've never seen a guy hit a fastball as good as him. If the ball isn't moving, you're not going to get Jeremy out. Am I wrong?
I mean, I'll make some outs here and there on balls that aren't moving, but
I've seen.
I do appreciate. I do enjoy the. If I had to pick one to hit, I would pick speed over movement. That's for sure. I mean, we almost got no hit by that guy on Gall that was throwing like 60% effort that one year.
Yeah, but the ball moved.
It moved, yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug, Jeremy?
I mean, we've already talked about the Wheelhouse podcast a little bit, but I will. I guess I'll give it an extra plug here. We are on Wednesday mornings is when we release our show. We release it every week. We are a baseball podcast that I guess it's kind of unlike any other baseball podcast. It talks about historic games, random players, random stats, the quirky aspects of baseball that make baseball such a unique sport. So I think it's definitely worth your time. Catch us every Wednesday morning, or by going to the Arena Sportsnet page. They air our show every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, we Yeah, we're definitely worth your time. We got some interesting topics. We're kind of unlike everything else. So
that's what you have to do with podcasts, though. There's a billion podcasts that talk about baseball. You know what I mean? You gotta think outside the box. I think what you guys are doing is smart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what's kind of sums us up perfectly is that our poster boy for the Wheelhouse podcast is light-skinned Sammy Sosa. So I think that speaks everything that Wheelhouse is about.
Very far.
Yeah,
He hit baseball.
he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
He does.
Anything you want to plug, Tim?
No.
All right, so for my guest, Jeremy Ratajczyk, longtime friend, I've known him since 2012, and my sidekick, Tim Anderson. I'm your host, Carl Kopp. Talk to you next time for episode 23 when we break down the NHL and MLB and much more. Soup!
Shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun!